touched the bell. Come in, he said, and choose your harp. You've had your time in hell. My brother, professionally, personally, and in Lambda Chi Alpha, John Knight, my fellow recipient, Bishop Goodpastor, David Huffine, CEO Bill Farkle, Mark Hewlett, members of the board, the hi-fi neighbor I'm sitting with over here who has already been on the podium, distinguished guests, and to the students and alumni who, as brothers, fill the room, including those from the University of Richmond, where I've served for 42 years. To the extent that there's truth in the conjecture of the verse just cited, some before me tonight may have contributed to its realization. The president of any college or university weathers a few storms during his term of office. The politicized nature of such institutions guarantees that few actions taken by the chief executive are acceptable to all of those claiming the right to participate in the decision-making process. Most casual observers believe that a university president is someone who lives in a big house, drives a big car, sits at the head table, and bathes. I can assure you there's more to it than that. In fact, the college or university presidency is fraught with contradictions not faced by chief executives of most other business or commercial enterprises. The students think they own the place. The faculty depend on their pound of flesh. The alumni assume a right of veto. The community is demanding of certain prerogatives. The governor and legislature are prominent as state institutions, while the board of trustees wields the ultimate authority. So where does that leave the president in the chain of authority? The position identifies very well with that of a train conductor who declared, "It's not my job to run the train, the whistle I can't blow. It's not my job to say how far the train's supposed to go. It's not my job to let off steam or even ring the bell, but let the damn thing jump the track and see who catches hell." So having failed to establish my preeminence in leadership as president of a college and a university, how do I confirm my credentials at a level worthy of the honor of achievement? Those who have received it in the past have placed upon it a stamp of high legitimacy. Thus, the recognition elevates my ego and my self-esteem at a time in life when most acknowledgments of meritorious service or successful accomplishments have already been realized. So thanks to all of those responsible for highlighting my achievements and the committee which judged that I should be recognized on this occasion. The dictionary defines a fraternity as a group of people joined by similar backgrounds, occupations, interests, or tasks, and the quality or condition of being brothers. On campuses where I have served, fraternities have represented an extension of family. I have over the years been a part of that family as president and chancellor through my association with students and alumni. John Knight, who just introduced me, was vice president of a college where I was president. And 46 years ago, he introduced me to Lambda Chi at the North Carolina State University where I was inducted. My subject tonight is living life to the fullest while learning, leading, and bucket listing. Learning begins at birth and expands to formal schooling through high school and into college with all of its options, one of which is a fraternal relationship with such as Lambda Chi Alpha. After the college years comes the leadership phase of life, most affected by our fraternity experiences, following which is the phase generally considered as the productive years. The learning and leadership years overlap, as learning is never completed and both may be a part of the ultimate bucket list. The latter can provide fulfillment far beyond that which those of college age can imagine. Resources, time, and circumstances finally converge to make possible impossible dreams. Only one who has already engaged those bucket years can convey fully how rich and full they can be. And we have learned at my age that years teach much that the days never know. and that the fraternity experience has extended itself throughout all of our life. As an accountant, I have been a part of that brotherhood. As a member of a couple of motorcycle clubs, I find that our interests bind us together. College and university presidents have their own organizations that are fraternal in nature, meaning that we have much in common in responsibility and lifestyle. Thus, the fraternal experience in college is an introduction to the importance of establishing relationships which can greatly enhance the prospects for a successful life. Even the brightest, the best educated, the most highly motivated, the ambitious, and the lucky find that their objectives are not realized without the strong support and the spirited cooperation of others. We need reinforcement throughout life, and more often than not, this comes from fraternal associates with whom we share our common interests. Even the period in history in which we live makes a difference in our accomplishments. Something or somebody intervenes to make possible our progress, which in many cases determines the outcome of our journey through life. Thus, we may not know where we're going until we get there, so we shouldn't be surprised if we end up somewhere else. The admonition of Julius Caesar says it well. There's a tide in the affairs of men when taken at the flood leads on to fortune. Omitted, all of the voyage of their lives is lost in shallows and in miseries. For every person and every organization, there comes a time when all of the building blocks coalesce in a manner which makes possible our success. I have inherited both the benefits and the consequences of my time in history. The age of most of you, from 17 through 21, I was in a fraternity unlike any others, the United States Marine Corps. Commitment to military service consumed 16 million of us, mostly college-age men, for the duration of World War II. That tie binds us as brothers even to this day. At age 20, as a sergeant in the Marine Corps, I commanded troops 17, 18, and 19, and age beyond that, and experienced direct leadership responsibility. While engaged in a very different manner than college-age students of today, I was actually on fast forward. The intensity of my experience force-fed me with responsibilities that added years of maturity in short months of learning. I still carry the motto, honor, courage, and commitment from my Marine years, and it fits comfortably with the core values of Lambda Chi. I trained as a tail gunner in dive bombers right here at the naval base near Memphis. As a country boy growing up in a very rural setting, I never dreamed of going to college. Learning was so far down my list of priorities that I flunked out of high school and was 4 years afterward rejected by a liberal arts college, of which I later became the chief financial officer and was offered the presidency. In fact, I haven't qualified for any college or university that I've been president of. During the Great Depression, at the early age of 15, I slept in the tobacco barn with a 12-gauge shotgun at my shoulder with a barrel pointed out of the hay toward the door, awaiting any intruder coming to steal the tobacco, which produced much of the family income for the year. At age 17, I traded that shotgun for an M1 rifle, which I carried onto the beach for combat on Okinawa at age 18. Following my 4 years of maturing in the Marine Corps, and thanks to the GI Bill, I entered college, where I married when I was a freshman, taught in college before completing my undergraduate degree, and had 6 children before finishing graduate school. In many ways, the transition from a rural farm orientation of the circumstance of history had expanded my orientation to new places, new faces, broader knowledge, and tougher challenges. These stretched my opportunities and capabilities socially, physically, and intellectually. Following my college years, I moved directly into a series of leadership positions. I started with a public accounting firm, from which I transitioned to business manager of a small college, and moved from there to every senior position in college and university administration, including leading the state system of higher education here in Tennessee. And one of the universities I represented at the state level was Memphis State University, now the University of Memphis, so I'm back home. Being a leader is a self-perceived posture, I assumed I was a leader equal to the task when I was elected president of a college and a university, which purpose it was to attract high-quality professors to teach excellent students. In both cases, there were people to be led and goals and objectives to be reached. I have often been complimented and occasionally accused of being bold. Boldness is, I believe, essential to the accomplishment of great things and is the best antidote to weakness. Seldom do any of us succeed beyond that which we perceive as possible. Lionel Halsey said, "Touch a thistle timidly and it pricks you. Grasp it boldly and its spine shrunk." I continue to be inspired by the ambitious beliefs of Daniel Burham, the revered architect of the city of Chicago, who said, "Make no little plans. They have no magic to stir men's blood, and they themselves will likely not be realized. Make big plans. Aim high, remembering that our sons and grandsons will do things that would stagger us. Remember that when you reach the level of imagination, you reach life and you capture reason along with that and everything." Leadership is knowing where we're going and how we intend to get there. The world steps aside to let those by who know where they're going. If a man knows not what port he sails for, no wind is favorable. Shakespeare said, "Assume a virtue, though you have it not, knowing that the dynamic power of habit will bring it into your character." Added to all other leadership attributes must be a heavy measure of integrity, which, when integrated into the characteristics, completes the circle. Jerry Pantis says, "Success in life is determined by the character of your journey. There is not a right way to do a wrong thing. Rather," he said, "you must stand for what's right even if you're standing alone." Emerson said, "Character is higher than intellect." Dying Harsh Greeley exclaimed, "Fame is a vapor, personality an accident. Riches take wings. Men who cheer today may curse tomorrow. Only one thing endures, and that's character." Goethe said, "Whatever you must do or dream you can do, begin it now." Those who wait for their ship to come in are usually outdone by those who swim out to meet it. And finally, after learning and leadership comes the reality of phase 3, where we deal with our bucket list. Some of that list I have fulfilled even before my current age by traveling to 145 countries. Because I haven't journeyed everywhere, the rest is on my bucket list. Now at age 87, I am engaged in many activities, including riding a Harley. I have ridden in every one of the lower 48 states since 83 age, covering some 36,000 miles, and I'm going to Alaska next year. To those who ask why, I cite the adventure in it all, and the fact that Helen Keller, blind and deaf, said, "Life is either a grand adventure or it's nothing." If she could see life as a grand adventure, why should I, even in my older years, fail to risk continuing to experience a grand adventure? At an age when most have put aside such activities as motorcycle riding, I find it to be an elixir for stimulation, a sense of well-being, mental and physical wholesomeness, a release from the ordinary, and a challenge physically, mentally, socially, and even intellectually. It lifts my level of self-confidence, self-control, self-esteem, and physical competence. My long rides provide more exercise by accident than many my age get on purpose. My adrenaline flows while I explore the landscape, learn about people, places, and things, and test my agility, resiliency, and tenacity. While a motorcycle may not be on your bucket list later in life, other great adventures should be a part of your long-range anticipation, even at the earlier phases of your life. Although we can't add years to our lives, we can add life to our years. If we can't do anything about the length of our life, we can do something about the breadth and depth. Motorcycling on my bucket list is only an example of life beyond the years of learning and leadership, making it a viable and valuable period of fulfillment. So life does not end at the end of your productive years. Activity in old age keeps one's mind on positive things and off those perceived conditions which come to some with age. A few hours on a motorcycle or an activity of choice beats days of visiting a psychiatrist. 80 and after is not an age, it's an attitude. So in this spirit, I conclude with words from Albert Lloyd Tennyson as he spoke to his compatriots during his waning days to bolster their resolve and to encourage their persistence and to reinforce his own desire to stay engaged. How dull it is to pause, to seek an end, to rust unburnished, not to shine in use, as though to breathe were life. Old age has yet his honor and his toil. Some work of noble worth may yet be done. Come, my friends, it's not too late to seek a newer world. Push off and sitting well in order, smite the sounding furrows for my purpose holds, to sail beyond the sunset and the paths of all the western stars until I die. It may be that the gulfs will wash us down. It may be we shall touch the happy isles and see the great Achilles whom we knew. Though much is taken, much abides, and though we're not now that strength which in past years moved earth and heaven, that which we are, we are. One equal temper of heroic hearts made weak by time and fate, but strong in will, to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield. Clearly these words convey that we don't quit doing things because we get old. We get old because we quit doing things. Along with George Bernard Shaw, I believe that life is no brief candle. It's a sort of a splendid torch which I hold for a moment, and I want it to burn as brightly as possible before handing it on to future generations. I end by confirming what's already been cited tonight, a verse which is the greatest lesson of fraternal involvement from Edwin Markham. There is a destiny that makes us brothers. None goes his way alone. All that we send into the lives of others comes back into our own. And throughout my life and at every age, I have and will keep walking through doors as they open to me. And I'm glad to have walked